Are you a Brazilian who wants to speak English with an American accent, or as close to it as you can get? Do you already speak English well enough to have conversations, or even at an advanced level, but you feel like you've hit a wall with your accent? Do you want to finally start to unblock or accelerate your progress with your accent? If so, I may be able to help. I'm looking for my next clients to personally help them get their accent unstuck and finally start making real progress again towards the American accent they dream of by personally mentoring them over the next 3 to 6 months so that they can be closer to going beyond just communicating, closer to being understood immediately without having to repeat themselves, and closer to being seen as less of an outsider. Maybe that's you? If so, pay attention, because if this new opportunity is a good fit for you, it can make a big difference in your life. So now I'm just going to speak a little in Portuguese so you can get a feel for how I sound and how I speak. And não falo perfeito, claro, mas eu tô no processo. Eu tô realmente tentando falar 100% igual brasileiro. Então não é uma coisa que eu só esteja, sabe, lendo num livro ou falando aqui, é uma coisa que realmente vivo. É algo importante para mim. Uma meta desnecessária talvez, né? Mas é algo que eu amo. Eu tô realmente tentando fazer. Então, se você quiser fazer algo parecido com o que eu tô fazendo, eu adoraria ajudar você. Eu sou falante nativo dos Estados Unidos, falo inglês como idioma nativo, né? Levo mais de 15 anos aprendendo vários idiomas estrangeiros, vários sotaques estrangeiros e tentando falar igual nativo neles. Eu aprendi português sem aulas. Na verdade, eu tenho um monte de amigos brasileiros e estou chegando cada dia mais perto de falar igual nativo. E é isso que eu já falei, basicamente. Mais de 30k seguidores no Insta desde 2018 e eu tenho um nicho bem específico, ajudando brasileiros com sotaque americano. Então, eu estou enxergando um monte de padrões nessa área bem específica. E se você é alguém que como é que fala, que se encaixe nesse perfil, né? Eu realmente acredito que consigo te ajudar. So, you may know Brazilians who have lived in the US for decades, but their accent or English is sort of frozen, even if they want to keep making progress. So, basically, this is a big thing. More time is not a magic solution. More time is not a magic solution. And that can be a scary thing because life is short and more time is not a guarantee that you're going to get what you want. So this is why I sometimes think of this like an accent wall. And we need to be strategic if we want to break through it or even just make more progress through it. You've probably already done some or all of the following: generic English courses, listening to hours and hours of content, asking natives for feedback. Maybe you've even specifically tried to train your accent or pronunciation in various ways. You may have been frustrated to find that your results with accent haven't been as great as you hoped. And while there's no magic solution or guarantee, of course, there are still some things that we can do to make a real difference. So imagine that you're trying to break through an actual wall. If you just slap your open hand against the wall, you can do it as long and hard as you want, but it's going to be hard to even make a crack in the wall. So this is how most people actually approach accent, even if they don't realize that that's what they're doing. They aren't focused enough on the right things. Their efforts are spread out too widely. So now let's imagine that real wall again, but instead, now imagine that you grab some tools to help you focus your energy. For instance, these, a hammer and a chisel. And now with just a single tap, you start to actually make a crack in the wall. And if you keep going, you can deepen and widen that crack. So you spend the same time and energy that you would have spent anyways, or maybe even less, but you actually make progress for real instead of just wasting that time and effort. Now, with accent, I'd argue that there's a similar process. It's not just about more time doing the same things everyone else does. You need to focus your efforts in the right ways, in different ways for most people that you probably know. Let me explain, and you don't have to believe me yet. This isn't 100% scientific, but it is based on my experience in my own personal journey with various languages and accents, and my experience helping many clients. So just see if you follow my logic. Your brain is used to putting sounds in categories based on what it's used to hearing in Portuguese. Like how you can easily tell the difference between bom and pau, but a gringo doesn't even notice the difference at first. Your brain got really good, really good at ignoring lots of subtle details that don't matter much in Portuguese, and paying attention to the details that do matter. It's filtering, it's sorting, it's putting things in categories. And when you go to a new environment, a new language or accent, suddenly the rules of the game have changed, but your brain doesn't want to adjust fully. Like when you struggle, maybe, with the difference between pen and pan, sick and seek, cold and code, or many, many other things just like these. Because you can survive without speaking like a native. It's not necessary, truly, right? You can survive, you can do well, you can be happy, you can be successful. Like, your brain doesn't... So why would your brain want to spend energy figuring out these tiny details? Your brain wants to keep doing what it always does and conserve energy unless you send it a strong signal to wake up and almost force it to start doing something different. So that's exactly what I help you to do when we work together. To make it so that it's hard to not figure out these pronunciation and accent details. To focus specifically on the exact sounds you're struggling with and expose their subtle differences in a very direct and focused way. To not just focus on more vocab or grammar or content, but to focus specifically on the accent layer and help you finally break through more of your accent wall. A lot of this is surprisingly simple stuff, but most people just don't do it. But when you do it well, it works. Like with Arthur, who couldn't pronounce his own name in English. So he started just telling people he was John to make things easier, but this bothered him. Then he and I started working together, and I gave him some simple exercises to train with. Now, he's not John anymore. He can say his name with confidence. I'm not saying it was easy for him, but I'm saying it was real, and it matters. And also, most of this is up to each individual client, not me. Arthur was dedicated. And I can show you the way, but it's still up to you to run, walk, or crawl. I can't do that part for you. So if you're ready to start making a difference for yourself with your accent, I'd love to help guide you. Now, let's look at a few of the options for working together. Option 1, one-on-one mentorship. It's a 3-month cycle. You get access to one one-on-one call per week, use it or lose it, as well as access to my personal WhatsApp for any questions between calls. This is the most exclusive option because naturally I can only work with a limited number of people. If you're interested in this, send me a DM on Instagram at Simple American Accent and we can talk about it. Option 2 is my mentorship group. This is a 6-month cycle and you get access to 2 group calls per month, as well as access to a WhatsApp group for any questions between calls. This is more affordable than one-on-one, and you also get to learn with others who are on a very similar journey because this group is specifically only for Brazilians. It's designed for Brazilians who are conversational in English and want to get closer to an American accent. So you'll be sharing a very similar journey with the other people in the group. So if you're interested in that, click the button below this video to apply, or go ahead and just manually type in that URL there, simpleamericanaccent.com/mentorship. So I'll go ahead and repeat this offer. I'm looking for my next clients to personally help them get their accent unstuck and finally start making real progress again towards the American accent they dream of by personally mentoring them over the next 3 to 6 months so that they can be closer to going beyond just communicating, closer to being understood immediately without having to repeat themselves, and closer to being seen as less of an outsider. Maybe that's you? If so, fill out the application on this page and I'll follow up with you if it's a good fit. So again, I would say, if you're on the fence, go ahead and just do it right now, and we'll see if it's a good fit or not. And I look forward to seeing your testimonial with the amazing results you've gotten. And again, if you're on the fence, if you're not sure, if you want to see the price, just hop in the application and see, because even if you can't afford the mentorship group, I can follow up with you and we can talk about other options, other cheaper options, ways to get started. So if you're interested in this, fill out the application or send me a DM on Instagram. I'd love to help you. Thanks.